Hello and welcome back to another fantasy football video. Hope everyone is doing well. Everything is a little bit up in the air ahead of FPL Game Week 8. For me personally, I feel as though they're going to call off the London fixtures due to policing requirements and play the remaining fixtures. That means today I'm going to be taking a look at a little wildcard video, considering those players that I think will play in Game Week 8 and also those players who look good post the international break as well. If you are new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Really does help me out, and let's get straight into this one. So starting off, we've gone for Nick Pope and Danny Ward in the goalkeeper spots. Nick Pope just seems like a standout option so far this season, picking up a 12-pointer in a 0-0 game against Crystal Palace with 9 save. Newcastle look good going forward in terms of defensively, has some nice fixtures with Bournemouth at home coming up. If that fixture does end up going ahead, we will most likely see Newcastle picking up a clean sheet in that game. Danny Ward, I'm actually tempted to maybe go for Everton instead. I can see him losing his spot. He's not been convincing in terms of a replacement for Kasper Schmeichel, getting 1s and 2s so far this season. So I could see him getting a price drop, but for now, we know that he is the starting goalkeeper for Leicester, so he will be staying in there for me. Then in terms of the defence, we've gone for Diogo Dalot as a 4.5 million option. He looks pretty good. He's picking up plenty of bonus points, picked up 6 bonus points in the 2 clean sheets that Manchester United have got. Manchester United looking a lot more convincing defensively now that they've dropped Harry Maguire, only conceding 2 goals in the Premier League since that has happened. His fixtures going forward are okay, with the Leeds match in Game Week 8 being the main targeting reason for him. You could potentially see Leeds scoring in that game. However, going forward, Dalot does look reasonably dangerous, and Leeds are a side that do concede a fair few goals. Then we've got Cancelo. For me, he's going to be pretty much a mainstay in the team. I can't really see any reason other than injury why I would be looking to take Cancelo out. Manchester City so far this season have been reasonably good defensively. Unfortunately for those who have doubled up on the Manchester City assets, maybe not as good as some hoped, but Cancelo showing that he's still got the attacking threat and staying a very viable and very good option. Then we've gone for Saliba, sticking with an Arsenal defender. For me, Arsenal just do look solid this season, look like one of the teams that is more likely week in, week out to keep a clean sheet. Saliba also looking good for the bonus points as well when they do keep a clean sheet, and so at 4.8 million, I think that is a pretty decent price. We've also gone for Trippier, the double up in the Newcastle defence. I actually quite like it because in the home games when they've got nice fixtures, you can double up. Maybe if they're away to Manchester United, you can just play Pope. The great thing about the both of them is that they're good for bonus points. Trippier thus far this season has also shown that he's not too bad for an attacking return as well, scoring a free kick against Manchester City and also taking the majority of corners and set pieces. It is likely that at some point during this season he is going to haul big with potentially a goal or an assist and then a clean sheet, picking up the 3 bonus points. I've tagged Anderson on the end there. This is more a kind of post-international break pick for me. He's got very good fixtures post the international break. Palace, if you look at their fixture ticker, it is basically all green, with the majority of the games being at home as well. I feel like it will be a massive advantage to own a Crystal Palace player. Defensively, they look okay. I would majoritively probably only play their defenders at home or away against the likes of maybe like a Bournemouth or an Everton, sides that have really struggled to score so far this season. And talking of another Crystal Palace man, I've gone for Wilfried Zaha in the midfield. Similar reasoning to Anderson is that they have great fixtures post the international break, and Wilfried Zaha is their main man. He is their talisman going forward and will get the majority of attacking returns for that team. He is also on penalties for them, which is just a massive upside. He doesn't get too many bonus points, which is not great for a player when, if a player scores, you really do want them to be getting on the bonus points, and he has not been. But with that being said, you still want the player to be scoring rather than not scoring, and Zaha's got 4 goals in 6 games for Crystal Palace thus far this season. Then Marcus Rashford having an absolutely stellar performance against Arsenal last weekend, picking up an 18-pointer and looking like he's probably going to be the main man to lead the line for Manchester United this season. There's a potential that he could be on penalties as well. That is sort of still yet to be seen, playing against Leeds in that next fixture. And as I mentioned with Dalot, Leeds do ship goals, and Rashford could be a very good option for that game week. Then we've gone for De Bruyne as the Salah replacement. dropping Salah down to De Bruyne. Now, I think if what I'm saying does actually happen with the London fixtures being called off, then you're going to want De Bruyne. It's only him and Haaland who are the big hitters who would play in that game week. So you really could lose out if you don't own De Bruyne in game week 8 and the London fixtures do get cancelled. Playing against Wolves away, it's not the easiest fixture for Manchester City. They have struggled in the past, but with a nice little rest this weekend, De Bruyne most likely to play 90 minutes and should have a pretty good game. Post the international break, De Bruyne has Manchester United at home and then Southampton at home, and it's in those big games where De Bruyne really does strut his stuff, so you can happily keep him post international break. We've then gone for Jarrod Bowen as a little punt, and this is only a punt if the London fixtures do get cancelled. Otherwise, I probably would not be going for him. At 8.1 million, he really has not justified that price so far this season, not getting a single attacking return. However, there is a little silver lining. In the Europa Conference League game, he did score a goal, and it was a penalty at that, so that could entail Jarrod Bowen being the main man to take penalties for West Ham for the rest of the season, and that would be absolutely massive in terms of his FPL potential. We've then got Andreas there, tagged on the end at 4.6 million. Now, for 4.6 million, he does come under that kind of enabling player. However, thus far this season, he has actually looked pretty decent, picking up 2 assists, and with those 2 assists, picking up 4 bonus points. Fulham play Notts Forest away in game week 8. Forest are the worst defensive side, with their expected goals being the worst in the league. Fulham have looked pretty good going forward, Andreas being a big part of that. Now, I also think you could make an argument for Leon Bay as well. Although he didn't start quite as well as most people would have wanted, he has picked up on a couple of returns. Scoring against Manchester City, quite surprisingly, I feel like that kind of will cement his place a little bit more in that Aston Villa side. And Villa play at home to Southampton in game week 8, and post the international break have a nice little fixture against Leeds. Now, I would say that post international break, Fulham actually do have the nicer fixtures, playing 3 home games out of 4 from game week 11 to game week 14, playing against the likes of Bournemouth, Aston Villa and Everton. Those are 3 extremely nice home fixtures to have. Then rounding us off in the attack, we have Erling Haaland, the main man, coming in at 12 million, going to be the majority of people's week in, week out captain. Tell you what, he will be my week in, week out captain. Not more to say other than fantastic option. Then we've gone for Alexander Isak from Newcastle. Not quite had the chance yet to fully prove himself in the Premier League, but he does look promising, scoring a goal against Liverpool and getting 1 disallowed as well, which is an incredibly nice finish. He then had the opportunity to score against Crystal Palace and did bottle it a little bit, but the signs are there that Isak can be a very good player for Newcastle this season. Playing against Bournemouth in game week 8 and Newcastle having decent fixtures after the international break, I think that it could be worth a try going for Alexander Isak. And then rounding us off, we have Alexander Mitrovic for Fulham. Now, Mitrovic has just been an absolute beast so far this season, scoring 6 in 6. Coming in at 6.8 million, arguably the best value attacker this season. And with that game against Forest, as I've mentioned, I think that Mitrovic could actually be a pretty must-own player for game week 8 and beyond past the international break. Definitely a player I'm considering bringing in, and that, well, definitely a player that I want in my team for game week 8 and beyond. So this is how the kind of wildcard team is lining up. Personally, if we see games going ahead for game week 8, be it all of them or be it just some of them, I will be wildcarding, just because there are quite a few players that I would like to potentially get rid of, like the likes of Salah and Trent and even Reece James, and there are quite a few players that I would like to bring in, you know, the likes of Mitrovic, the likes of Isak, the likes of Dalot. And so when we do get more confirmed information, I will put another video out with another wildcard. But if you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.